Alright, YouTube, it's the Shadow King Nazaru, and I'm here to do my review of Resident Evil Retribution. You know, I almost thought to myself, why even bother with reviewing this? I mean, it's just gonna bring me more suffering just by doing this. But I made a commitment, and I'm gonna do it. We start off with Jill's squad attacking Arcadia with Allison group, or I would say group, had Chris and Claire not suddenly disappeared from the movie, with Alice showing no concern for it. And they surprisingly show this being done backwards and then suddenly fast forward again. You're right, Resident Evil Retribution. It has been about 10 seconds since you've done something stupid. Better get right on top of that. And then we cut to a misdirection of an Alice clone married to a clone of Carlos, and they apparently have a daughter. And then they suddenly get attacked by zombies. But fortunately, Alice clone and her daughter get aid from a clone of Rain from the first movie, who's played by Michelle Rodriguez, who was actually being nice. It's kind of interesting that Michelle Rodriguez is playing a non-bitch. Never seen that before. I honestly never thought I would even see that before. Granted, there's another Rain clone, and she's still a bitch, but still, that's shocking. And but suddenly, Nice Rain's car gets destroyed by colliding with a garbage truck, and Alice clone and her daughter flee, leaving Nice Rain. Wow, Alice, you're a bit of a bitch. And then the movie tries to play Inception with Dream Inside a Dream, with real Alice waking up naked in a cell for the 36th time in a row, or possibly more, but 36 was the amount of times we could see her naked. Firstly, want to again just thank Bayless for that, because he was helping me with this review. Then we see that Umbrella's computer gets hacked and the security system shuts down. And then, despite this, the doors are opening, and Alice gets a combat gear. Why? Why would they have that? And how did they get something for Alice that fits Alice's size? And no, it's kind of funny that when the computer shut down, it also shuts down Jill and other people controlled by the spider bots, because it would only make too much sense if they just ran independently in case something like this happened. And then we see Alice just standing there like an idiot, despite the announcer saying that the system will reboot in about 20 seconds. And then she starts getting chased by lasers. They really can't let that go, can they? And another question this brings up is, why does Umbrella try to capture Alice if they're so willing to kill her? And then the door opens for Alice despite Umbrella having complete control, and allows Alice to escape. Oh. So Umbrella either can't know. No, sorry. Then Alice goes to a Tokyo simulation from Afterlife, which shouldn't make sense because according to that movie, it was supposed to be the real Tokyo, as they did an overworld shot to show that the T-virus was spreading throughout the world, and supposedly that was going to lead to that extinction, whole world desert thing, but that was retcon. So Umbrella either can't know how this happened, or they were able to recreate the scenario and are just wasting their resources. And apparently Alice can still use martial arts to fight off zombies despite having no martial arts training, at least none that I know of, and not having her powers. Yeah, just typical Mary Sue Alice. And then Alice meets Ada Wong, again an in name only character, as she is not the freelance girl who just works for Umbrella for money and has none of the romantic feelings towards Leon, despite them being on opposite sides. But she is working with Wesker, though not as a freelance person, to get Alice's help. And Wesker says that the simulations were meant to sell the T-virus to the nations. My question is, why bother when a real outbreak happened in Raccoon City? And also, when did this occur during the zombie apocalypse? And also, why are they still running these simulations after the viral arm races have ended? It's like this movie is actually trying to poke holes in its own damn story. And also, how does Wesker have access to this some of the data when the Umbrella's supposed to be having control? And then there's also the question of why would they try to contain a zombie outbreak by nuking Raccoon City while at the same time trying to sell these to other nations so they can start a zombie outbreak? Oh God, this is stupid. But maybe something really stupid won't happen in the next scene. In the next part, Alice tries to shoot the windows to escape, and Ada has to remind them that they're underwater and that doing so will kill them. Excuse me for a moment. Let's continue, shall we? Then we see that a rescue team comprising of Barry Burton, Leon S. Kennedy, and Luther, and a bunch of nameless people comes to save Alice. And it's nice to see Leon S. Kennedy, my favorite character from the Resident Evil games, which is kind of odd because according to the Raccoon newspaper for Resident Evil Apocalypse, Leon S. Kennedy is supposed to be dead. Now, also, why did Wesker hire Luther? Doesn't seem very practical to hire a former basketball player to be part of your rescue team. Yeah, unless he probably heard of his plane catching skills. And then Wesker tells Alice that Jill is hunting her under the orders of the Red Queen. And apparently the Red Queen is doing all this. Which doesn't make a lick of damn sense because the Red Queen was originally killing these people to contain the T-virus from spreading. But now she is purposely spreading it. And how could she do this when her system was fried in the first movie? How does Paul W.S. Anderson screw up the continuity of a movie he references so much? I think I did the Bible gag too early. Ugh. And then Wesker says that their escape route is through simulations instead of around them. And the Red Queen can inexplicably activate the zombies, or Las Plagas as they were supposed to be, since these creatures have the Las Plagas features, which isn't a product of the T-virus, to attack Alice. And Alice still manages to beat these zombies and some of the execution infectees, despite no powers. And the Red Queen inexplicably has Las Plagas and is wasting them on zombies, just so this movie can have a stupid attempt to have zombies drive and shoot at people. No, when a movie does something like having zombies drive and shoot at people, that's just a clear sign that whoever makes this movie doesn't, it's not even trying, it's not putting the slightest bit of effort in trying to make a good movie. It's really depressing when I see so many movie makers do their hardest to make the best movie they could possibly be and still barely get any recognition for their, any credit for their movies, and are lucky enough to get one sequel, and yet this hack of a filmmaker, Paul W.S. Anderson, puts the most asinine things, and yet he still makes millions of dollars and has made 5 movies and a 6th one coming. This is just depressing. Then we see Alice go through a simulation of Raccoon City and sees that her Alice clone has died. My question is that why is there a Raccoon City simulation when, according to Wesker, they had already done a New York simulation for Moscow? Because Raccoon City takes place in America too. So what the hell? And Umbrella still doesn't use the Alice clones to make their super army, because at this point they should already know that all the Alice clones have the same powers as Alice. And then Alice tries to look after her clone's daughter, which is kind of a repeat of her looking after Angela Ashford, who once again was a character that disappeared after her first appearance in the second movie. Then Alice and the others get cornered by Jill and the Umbrella Squad clones, and she tries reaching out to the clones instead of Jill, the real person and someone she could actually talk some sense into. And then when she gets shot, Alice sends her daughter off on her own to check her shot wound. That doesn't affect her at all. Mother of the Year, everyone. Just tell your daughter to walk off while everybody's getting shot, and there's also zombies running around. Mother of the Year. Mother of the Year. And then we see Alice run into Nice Ring Clone and then teaches her how to shoot a gun. Yeah, of course she did. And then we also see Alice save Leon, Luther, and Barry from an overgrown liquor, because it's pretty par of the course that Alice does something while none of the other characters do a damn thing because they're so fucking useless. And then we see Nice Ring get killed by the liquor, and Alice's daughter gets captured by the liquor and put into a sack. Also, why is the liquor putting Alice's daughter and other people in sacks when even in this movie they've done nothing but kill people? And, well, as you would expect, Alice defeats the liquor with inhuman feats despite no powers. And then we see that Barry tries to fight off Jill and her squad, but ends up getting killed when they threaten to kill Ada Wong, who they don't kill after she's outlived her used her usefulness to them. Odd. Then Alice sees might be the dumbest thing she probably should see. That Umbrella is mass-producing clones, but not using them for the army. Oh, who am I kidding? This is not even going to be remotely the dumbest thing we see in this movie. And then the clones get destroyed in an explosion. Yeah, whatever. And then Alice and her friends confront Jill and Rain. And Rain injects herself with the Las Plagas parasite, which in the games just made you act deranged and controlled by a higher Las Plagas parasite, but you could still act more intelligent than a regular zombie. But in this movie, it gives Rain superpowers and makes her near invulnerable. Wow. And also, if they that could work on a regular person, why did they waste it on zombies? They certainly had more because we saw them wasted on zombies. And then Rain kills Luther with the X-ray move. Paul W. Anderson either wants to go back to directing Mortal Kombat movies, or he wants to direct a Tekken game. A Tekken game movie. What does Tekken have to do with this? Well, remember that X-ray move from Mortal Kombat 9? Tekken did it first in the spin-off called Death by Degrees. What's that? Ah, that's the sound of your minds being blown. And then we see Alice try to kill Jill instead of trying to remove that spider bot that will turn her back to normal. Now, I don't even know why I was expecting Paul W.S. Anderson to remember the first Resident Evil movie when he clearly can't even remember Afterlife. No, the movie right before this one. But then suddenly Alice remembers that she's a complete dumbass and actually does try to remove the spider bot, which also tries to lunge and attack her because that's not how it worked in the last movie either. And then Rain does the X-ray move on Alice again and stops her heart, but this merely winded her. So yes, Alice just had her heart stop and it didn't freaking matter. I don't... This isn't even worth my rage anymore. And then we see that Jill, who merely only had her spider bot removed from her, is suddenly too winded to use the gun that she had in her possession and passes it to Alice to defeat Rain. So it's just a repeat of Resident Evil Afterlife again. And Rain dies from underwater zombies. Zombies don't swim, Paul W.S. Anderson. Zombies don't swim. They don't have the intelligence for that. They don't swim. Damn it. Damn it, Paul W.S. Anderson. They don't swim. Let's just get this over with. We see Jill talking to Alice, and she still has her memories from the spider bot because the memory loss thing was so last movie. And then we see Alice gets taken to Washington, D.C. and meet Wesker, who's now the president. And it's kind of funny that she's able to meet with him despite the White House being under attack by zombies. And then Wesker gives Alice her powers back just so she can help him take down the Red Queen. And then it just ends with them fighting the zombies, leading up to the 6th movie. This movie just does everything in its power to either contradict or repeat what it did before. And the whole entire plot just feels like a giant Act 1 with this whole thing of trying to focus on rescuing Alice when you think they would just cover that in the first act and try to move on. But no, we just gotta do all this stupidity. So that was Resident Evil Retribution. I would have liked to say that was the last movie and Sony had enough sense to fire Paul W.S. Anderson and reboot this series, but no, we're still getting one more. So join me next year when I review Resident Evil, whatever that next movie is going to be called, or whatever year I decide to review the next movie. Oh God, this was stupid. Oh God, help me.